All right, we got another one. Street Recon, number 9, Wilshire. Wrapping this street up soon. Let's look at some quick stats. Only 2.5 miles. Out there for almost 2 hours, almost 7,000 steps. Another beautiful day, 79, it's sunny. And there is the route, Centinela to National. So yeah, this is the border of Santa Monica. And this whole route, I went this way and then back to my bike. It's all in Los Angeles. Noticeably a bit more grimy, but didn't really see any drama today. So that's always kind of nice, even though there's always, kind of like I don't know, it's a different vibe when you go into LA, something in the air. But anyways, let's get to it. Got about 60 something photos. So yeah, started it off just trying to get a kind of like a street scene at the 720 Santa Monica. And this guy, I pretty much see him anytime I'm out taking photos. I see this guy. He's everywhere. So that dude getting a lot of steps in. Yeah, just trying to make something out of nothing here. Got that guy's face looking at me. Fire hydrant framed between the shadows. And I included the 2 sewer covers. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for cars to pass by and trying to get their profile in the white area there. And that guy looks like maybe like a sick dude. Is that right? I don't know. I grew up in Indiana, so I'm not culturally intelligent. And yep, I like that too. Got all the signs. Got some people. I got another one that's kind of similar to this, and there's this huge open space over here that I didn't really like. So this time I backed up a little bit, included this sign. There's still a little open gap, but I like this one a little bit more. Even the signs are overlapping and all that. Just got a lot of faces, We got the people walking. You can see how busy Wilshire is. Yeah, really like that one. I was looking at this. This is Sonic the Hedgehog. Am I dumb, or is that Sonic the Hedgehog? I am not sure. But if it is, bringing back memories. One of the first games I ever played. Got the little sign or banner with the loose thread flowing in the wind. Cliche shoes as always shoot them. And surprisingly today I actually got 2 shoe shots that were, I think, pretty unique. So those are coming up in a little bit. Happy about that. Got this lady carrying a bag. Shooting some more signs. Because this lady, damn, you hear that? It's loud. So loud. That's the joy of living in a city. Your neighbors are very loud every once in a while. But anyways, yeah, got this lady. She's back there by the dumpsters. I think she worked in this building and she was throwing something away maybe. And yeah, this is a weird spot for anybody to be walking around. So she was obviously looking at me for a reason, because I was being creepy, taking her photo. And yeah, here's one of the shoe shots that I like. The main subject is just this conglomeration of wires, so many wires. And then I noticed the shoes, so I framed those in the white area. Really like that. Completely full of power lines. And this is these are in like a back alley. I was walking a lot of back alleys today, because sometimes the main streets, they're fine, but the back alleys, you really find some hidden gems in the back alleys. And on both sides of Wilshire, the alley stretches, pretty long way. So I was walking them in this alleyway I was on. There was this guy with that cool Havana hat, and he was over here. I was taking a photo of him here earlier. I took about 5 photos of him, and none of them turned out. And then I crossed the street, looked behind me, and I saw an old dude walking towards me. And I was like, oh yeah, and I made sure to frame his white shirt and hat against this black wall. And yeah, I like the poles are all tilted. Nice photo. And you got, this first level of the building, then the second level. Yeah, I really like that one. Framing up some more lines, buildings, signs. I was over here framing these up, and this lady just happened to walk down the alleyway, so kind of like that. This is that same alleyway. This is a drive-thru for KFC. There's surprisingly a KFC, and it's still there. I never see anybody eating there, but it's staying in business somehow. Saw this big vehicle. I don't even know what it is, but it looks pretty cool. Framing up some more lines in between the trees. Framing up all these new buildings that they're building over here. This is like a huge residential complex in this area in here. It's like a park. And yeah, it's just surrounded by all these new buildings that they're building. So kind of cool. But anyways, yeah, this guy was checking me out. He's probably thinking what the hell I'm doing. But you can see his foot and his face looking at me. And I noticed this guy walking. And I was like, oh, I'm going to wait for him. And I got his face in the frame. So pretty happy with that. This is that same parking lot, just different angle. Tilted my camera a little bit. Hit another sign, a couple signs here. And usually when I get these street scenes, I always try to keep a car cut off on one side or on both sides. So here you got the postal truck, and I purposely framed that. I was just holding my camera here, and I was waiting for all the cars to advance. And I purposely wait for a car to be cut off, leaving the frame. I find that if you try to get the whole car in the frame, it just doesn't feel as good. This feels the best to me. Cut off cars. Gosh. Then I circle. Now I'm back on Wilshire, and yeah, notice this building they're doing a lot of construction on, and just kind of old, beat up, torn up. And this wall used to probably have a whole bunch of travertine tile on it, and it's ripped off. And yes, I just like all the old glue, and you can see the trowel lines and where they were putting the mortar on. And yeah, I like all that texture. One of the new buildings that they're building, and I was just kind of checking this thing out, the construction elevator going up and down. Yeah, they're just erecting that building like nothing. And this is a reflection of this building. You can kind of see how that matches that. The sun was hitting that and was hitting that. So yeah, it just kind of really lit up on the other building that's already complete. Reflection off the glass on these plants and flowers shooting up in that complex. I was kind of feeling inspired by this one because the sun was right here and it was hitting the side of the building here. And it's like this jagged, like looks like a stair steps. And then made sure to frame these bushes and this light in the bottom to give it kind of like a nature element. So you got the human element and you got the nature element. So, and yeah, the light pole just kind of completes the whole process. So I really like that one. And I cropped in a little bit to a landscape shot of the same thing. Then I was feeling thirsty, had to go into 7-Eleven, took a photo. And here's the second interesting shoe shot that I got. And I think I probably like this one more. Yeah, I really like that one. It just kind of all filled out, looks cool with the shoe. And while I was in the 7-Eleven parking lot, these birds are flying around and tried to get one. Got that one. Would have been better if the bird was in the middle, but still not bad. There they are, those pigeons hanging out in the parking lot. And yeah, I like the row of cars behind it. Took a photo of this girl. She's probably like, what are you doing? But I took the photo. Really like this one, crossing the crosswalk. And yeah, you can see this from these tall buildings, you got all these deep shadows here. And I knew that I was going to be able to time it just right to get all three people in the light. And yeah, I really like the shadow here. It just looks super cool. And then their hair, the light is just glistening off the hair. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, this is National Street. So I crossed the street here and then I went this way back to my bike. And now I'm going back to my bike and shooting this way. And there's a 7-Eleven I just came from. And you can see everybody's going, leaving Santa Monica. Nobody's going in because I was reading a report. 90% of the people who work in Santa Monica do not live there. So 90% of the people are always leaving the city because it's just so expensive. Nobody can afford to live there. So yeah, that is why all the cars are leaving and nobody's coming. Now I dipped into an alleyway, this alleyway right here. This whole scene drew me in. It was all the reflection off the glass. And I just like these jagged little plants, and this girl's head was framed in that white sign. And I went over there to get this photo, and then I looked down the alleyway. It's like, oh, I'm just going to walk down that alleyway so you can see kind of on the hill, so you can't see how long it is, but I think I kept another photo where you can kind of see how long the alleyway is. So just walking down the alleyway, snapping photos on the way down. Oh yeah, you can see how long the alleyway is here. Waited for that guy to cross, just kind of snapping the back of storefronts. You get all these shadows from the power lines. There's some graffitied dumpsters there with the buildings in the background. Yeah, just hitting up all the lines. Love this old school. It's like a 1968 Bronco or something. And got that Bronco. I think that's probably my favorite. And this in this parking lot. You got this thing's probably a $150,000 car, and then you got this old junky piece of plywood parking sign that's been there for probably 20 years. Still cranking out down the alleyway, and just got the American flag with some more signs. Waited for this car to enter the frame to fill it out a little bit. Yeah, just looked this way. This is towards the Santa Monica Mountains. You can just barely see the mountains. You just see all the poles. Waited for that dude to cross. Looks kind of cool. And that same artist that I think was Sonic the Hedgehog, it looks like the same artwork. I don't know if that's Sonic again, but took the photo anyways. And we got a vacant lot. It's the same vacant lot here. Surely will be some apartments soon. I noticed on the alleyway some person drew F-U-C-K on these little squares. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Took a photo of that. And then on the side of this building, there's murals all down the side of it. And there's a lot of like either Greek or Roman stuff. But what's interesting is like you can see the main figure painted, but then you can see this too, like an outline of the same thing. So I'm wondering, was this like the original, like a decal, and they peeled it off and then put the new one there? I don't know. I don't get that. I was trying to figure it out. Yeah, this dude, when I passed him, he was actually snoring. That guy was just laid out right by the Ralph's. And that alleyway this way goes into this Ralph's parking lot. And I took a photo of this old beater. What is that, like an Oldsmobile? But the whole inside of the car was like people's clothes. And I started looking around that parking lot. There was like 10 cars in there you could tell people were living in. So that Ralph's parking lot got a lot of squatters. This is the side of the Ralph's. And yeah, just vivid kind of scene. And this lady had her umbrella blocking the sun, but she was walking on the opposite side of this one. I think the light was reflecting off this really bright white paint, and it was just reflecting right on her face, because you can tell like it's still pretty lit up. So I wish I would have kind of framed this a little bit better, because you got all this stuff. But if I end up keeping it, putting a magazine or something, I'll probably just make it into a square. It looks a lot better. Just taking a photo of a Wilshire sign. I made sure to frame up the light poles. Got a little angle, kind of like that. And a lingerie shop. Made it back onto the main Wilshire now. Morgan & Morgan. See those commercials everywhere. And then one more photo. All the buildings, and I got a bus. Yeah, kind of like this with the poles. Looks cool. Nice little street scene. All right. That is Street Recon number 9.